Hello and welcome to Main Street. I'm Barbara Deeb. On this edition of the program, we're going to meet three individuals who have lessons to teach their students about life and the disciplines they're trying to master. Amanda Clark is an associate professor of dance at WKU. She learned early in 2012 that she had breast cancer and has used that diagnosis to teach her students that something good can come from any situation. Fencing instructor Stephen Fisher's been fencing since he was 12. His passion for this discipline has pushed him to share this unique sport by opening his own fencing academy. Ching-yi Lin spoke no English when she arrived in the U.S. at the age of 12. Her love of music allowed her an avenue of creative expression that needed no translation. She now shares the language of music and joy with children as the director of the pre-college strings program at WKU. Lessons learned on this edition of Main Street.
Funding for Main Street was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you who support quality programs such as Main Street that appear only on public television.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November 2011. I went through surgery, I went through several months of chemotherapy, and then was supposed to go on with radiation. However, because of my age, I'm hoping that I have many more years here on this earth, I chose to do everything that I could to prevent it from returning, and I opted to do a double mastectomy last summer 2012. I also did reconstruction, went through all the surgeries in the process, thought I was doing well, and then in February of this year, I learned that I had a recurrence. It was now in my lymph nodes, most likely it had been there all along. So I had a surgery, removed those lymph nodes. I chose to do radiation first, mainly because of my work schedule. It would be a little bit easier to complete the radiation now, and then I'll do about 5 months of chemo beginning in the summer. The diagnosis was a complete shock. I found the lump myself. As I said, no history of breast cancer in my family. So it was just a complete shock. And chemo was hard, and I continued working during the chemo. But I believe that there can be something positive from every situation and circumstance in life. And for me, the positive side for the breast cancer was that I believe God is using me to educate and inspire either the students or my daughter, or maybe somebody that I'm not even realizing that I'm inspiring. I've been very open with my students in letting them know about the diagnosis, about all my treatments, the entire process really. Chances are that one of my students down the road will have the same diagnosis or will know somebody, have a family member or friend that's diagnosed. So the more I can educate them on my experience and let them see that life goes on, that you can continue working, you can continue being a mother, daughter, wife, friend, teacher, athlete, whatever it might be, that your life doesn't have to end. The diagnosis, the whole experience really has made me appreciate life more, has made me put my priorities into perspective a little bit more, and I really try not to worry about the future or even about tomorrow. Just focus on today and living out each day in the best way that I can.
From breath, you come around.
Teaching, I love the discipline in teaching. I love to be in the studio working day after day, doing a lot of times the exact same movements and exercises day after day to build upon, to see students accomplish something. Whether it's just working their turnout a little bit more, accomplishing that triple pirouette that they've struggled with, cleaner lines in their jetés or their leaps, and seeing the light bulbs go off in their eyes when they finally get it and they finally understand, and then to see them graduate and go on to do exactly what they've been preparing to do.
It's a little stiller, abdominals a little stronger.
My philosophy for teaching is educate and inspire the students. Teach them sound, proper dance technique, but inspire them to be an individual within dance, not to be consumed with or dwell on the perfection of the art, on that perfect turnout, on the perfect body for dance, whatever it might be, but to realize their strengths and their talents and their gifts and help them get to that next level, whatever their individual goals may be. And I think with dance, my philosophy is just to enjoy. Yeah, find out what it means to you and live that out, whether it's to teach, whether it's to perform, whether it's to choreograph. The students have helped me realize that I can become a better teacher, that I still have things to learn. Each day through working with them, I discover new ways to deliver material, to convey concepts. So they're helping me grow as a teacher, and I think when I first came here, maybe I was a little naive in thinking, okay, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to teach them how to dance, and I've learned just as many lessons as I hope that they have learned. As long as I've been here, the students have been wonderful. They're here because they want to be here. They're in the studios all day long, it seems, every day, because they're dedicated and they're focused and they're goal-driven, and they give back to me just as much as I try to give to them. Each day in class, they're ready to go, they're attentive, they're positive, they're receptive to corrections, to new perspectives and new ideas, but then they bring something to the table too, and they inspire me each day. Our students, as I said earlier, they're wonderful. They're dedicated, they work so hard. I imagine that audiences don't realize how much work goes into the concerts that the students produce. They're working on the choreography, on their technique from the very beginning of the semester, and our concert isn't until the end of the semester. So the hours and hours that they put in classes and rehearsals just to give to an audience. I hope that an audience can recognize that and appreciate that. It has been a joy, and it will continue to be a joy to work with the students at Western. I hope that I continue to inspire them, to not only give them the skills and the tools that they need to be a dancer, performer, choreographer, teacher, but to be a better person overall.
On guard, ready, set. Oh. Knees of the back right. Touch, 3-0.
When I first found out about fencing, I was 12. I saw an article in the newspaper, Daily News, about 1995, late 95, of two fencers going to local nationals. Nationals, I think, is held in North Carolina that year. And I'd always looked around and always watched sword fighting movies and stuff. I always thought it was neat. And looking for a new sport at that time, I started running cross country. And I saw the article in the paper, and pretty much I thought it'd be something neat to try. That first night I got there, we went through some basic footwork, and it was just a very different atmosphere. You know, you don't see many sports that use a sword. From the first night, I thought I liked it. And eventually stuck with it in the past 17 years. Throughout high school, I helped out giving some lessons here and there. I never had too much thought to it. Once I got back from Iraq in 2007, I started to branch out and give it to the public. It's a sport that is not known around here at all, but now there's an opportunity for people to learn the sport.
Okay, good. Any questions? So we'll do this first, exchange drill back and forth. Okay. No footwork.
We were really excited when we did discover there was a fencing program in town. My son, Kevin, fenced in Buffalo when we lived there for about 2 years. And when we moved to Bowling Green, we were looking for a fencing club where he could continue. And the closest ones we found were in Nashville or in Louisville, and they were very far away. So we inquired through a WKU program, and we found Stephen, and he started his own club, and we were just very excited to have the opportunity.
If I do it again, I see him go to 4. What can I do now? Okay? If he doesn't parry, I can do a feint disengage.
It looked really fun to watch Kevin fence, and I thought, I'm going to try that too. And I really love it. It's just a lot of fun.
That first class was like any time you go into initial experience was kind of nerve-wracking. Didn't know what to expect, didn't know how my instructor was going to be or the people around me.
First time I taught, I was nervous, trying to teach a simple action or whatnot, and then you have to think, your whole mind process goes back, figure out how are you going to teach this effectively. If you just say do this and do that, you're not getting the point across. Every lesson has to have a theme, a goal, a purpose, and good understanding what you get out of each lesson. Started to go to coaching clinics, coaching certifications and such. First time I did my actual class with my actual business, the Bowling Green Fencing Academy, I was nervous, but the main thing is I knew my material, knew what to do and how to teach it, and that nervousness goes away with time. But there's a big difference, big change from competing in a sport and then teaching someone else how to do it, because you have to transfer all your skills and knowledge and understanding to the student so they're able to grasp that and effectively apply it. It's pretty much the old age adage. They say it's like a game of physical chess. You're either waiting for your opponent to move or you move yourself. It's constantly tactical thinking. You're one person trying to outwit the other one, not with only the mind, with the body. What you're doing is you're fighting to control the distance. In fencing, the greatest thing is for you to be able to hit your opponent just enough close enough. I'll always be within that distance, to fight to get that distance, and for your opponent to always be just far enough away to where you don't get hit. Generally in fencing, the fencer who controls the distance usually wins the bout. So when you look at two fencers and they're moving back and forth, shuffling here and there, they're fighting for the distance and the right time to make that attack. There's a lot of technique involved, tactics. It's a slow learning process. Your body's not trained to move like a fencer. It's an asymmetrical sport, it's something completely different. It took a lot of time to learn, it's slowly progressive, but it was a lot of fun. You have your customs, courtesies, salute your opponent, respect towards everyone. The philosophy of mine is respect. Respect towards your opponent, respect towards everyone around you. Whether I win or lose, it's all about the respect towards each other. I teach all my students to have respect. Don't worry if you lose. You work and get better at it. Everything comes in time. We won't always win. And always respect your opponent whether you win or lose.
Stephen Fisher is a fantastic instructor, very patient, very knowledgeable. He is able to tailor the class to many different skill levels and age levels. We have kids that are 13 and 14 with the attention span of 13 and 14-year-olds. And then we got older people like myself who have tried other things and have been able to bring that, and he's been able to make the classes interesting for every skill level.
Okay, give him proper thrust, and the blade bends the other way. Okay, blade is generally tempered to go and bend one way only.
He's very knowledgeable. He's very passionate about his sport. He's just, you can tell he really enjoys defense, and it's infectious. The rest of the class, we can't help but love defense too. I'm not a very aggressive person, but in fencing, if you don't step out there and attack your opponent, you aren't going to get touches, and so that's kind of really helped me be a little bit more forward.
One of the things I've learned from Mr. Fisher, just dedication. You got to do this every day. And the simple things are what's important. You need to work, do your footwork, because from your feet come your base, and from that is what you build everything else on. So his just pushing us to make sure that we do things every day to get better. And that's what he wants. He wants us to get better.
Back, parry forward, direct for post. Okay? And begin.
The biggest thing I want them to pretty much learn from every lesson I give is that whatever I teach is that they're able to effectively apply it within their fencing. Some actions we do may not always work, but the majority of them will, and it's very important that you're able to effectively apply that. The main thing is my lessons that have a specific goal in mind that they take away just enough, and they're able to apply it in their bouts. Since I started teaching, the greatest thing is that I'm able to teach my students something, and that they're able to apply it, and I can watch them apply it, and I can let them see and understand the things that I've taught them. That's the biggest goal as a teacher, to teach someone and have them apply that and use that in their life and in the sport of fencing. I started fencing, and ever since then, I may have had a year and a half or so off of when I was in the military and such. But it's probably the one thing that's always stuck in my life, that I've always done. I've never gotten tired of it. That's kind of rare nowadays to have something that you stick with throughout your life. And I hadn't died out, I'm still doing it. And I still enjoy it every day.
Well, actually I started playing the piano when I was 4 years old, and I went to an elementary school for gifted students when I was 7. They required me to take a minor, and that's when I picked up the violin. I mean, when you're that little with this wooden box, you don't know what to do with it, and you're making awful noises. And I had no idea that it was going to become such an important part of my life. I moved to the States when I was 12 years old. I didn't speak a word of English, and music was what really kept me going. And when I went to college, I decided to major in music. I think the ability to have self-expression that is of my own, regardless which composer's music you're playing. And that's something that we love to teach to our students, that they have a voice, and we want them to express their voices.
Hobo, upper half, and love every note. Again.
Sometimes I'm thinking about what I'm gonna play next, and then I sometimes just thinking about random things, because I sometimes don't even think about what I'm playing. It just like comes to me.
I've always taught because I thought it was fun, but it was when I became a doctoral student at Indiana University that I realized how passionate I was about it, to be able to help kids and to be able to help people do a better job at what they love doing. They come to us with so many questions, and they're always trying to improve. And for that, we are always striving to be better teachers, to explain ourselves clearly. And also when we're lecturing our students all the time, the words that we say translate into our own practices. So they're all angels, really.
Please swing back and forth like the tree. What kind of tree are we going to do today? Bacon tree lessons. Yummy.
If I could describe her in one word, it would be passionate. And I read a quote earlier about when your passion and your career collide, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that that's exactly what's happened with her. I think that she doesn't look at this as a job. This is her life. This is her passion. I mean, and just talking to her, she eats, breathes, lives violin, and not just violin, but violin instruction to children. She's so passionate about teaching the little bitty ones, and also very passionate about teaching the older ones. She wants everybody to play the violin if they want to. She has a way of guiding them in instruction that isn't putting them down or making them feel like they're not doing it right, or they've done something wrong, or they need to do this better. She has a way of building them up so that they feel like no matter what they do, she's going to be proud of them. And that's so important.
I think you have to be passionate about what you're doing in order to teach children, especially young children. Both my boys started at 4.5, and I mean, it fostered a love of music, and they love music partly because of Ching-yi and the program here.
Yeah, she's very fun, and she teaches very fun-like, so she's a good teacher. I enjoy it because you get to express your feelings, and you just be happy when you hear the music. I think about how I'm playing the music and they enjoy it, and I like that.
She is challenging sometimes, but she pushes me, and it makes me a better player. She just teaches you to always do your best and always practice to do your best, because you can't ever be perfect, but you can always practice to get better and better.
When we teach the violin or when we teach music, we're not necessarily just teaching a kid how to play an instrument. We're hoping to teach them the ability to fall in love with something and stick to it, to really set their mind to something. I think every kid is special to us, even the ones that don't maybe play as well. It's amazing to see them grow and to see them flourish. That's what music to us is about. We understand that not all of these kids are going to be musicians when they grow up. They may not be pursuing a musical career, but that they will always take this kind of love for music and for art with them. If they put their mind to it, anything is possible. I love, more than performing myself, to see my kids on stage beaming with pride, knowing that they've worked really hard and that they're there to share something that they love doing with the public.
Good job!
No, I've got everything that I want. It's kind of incredible. I can't think of anything else that I love more than what I'm already doing.
We've come to the end of our journey, but we hope you've enjoyed these stories of lessons learned. Amanda Clark, whose diagnosis has added an extra dimension to her students' dance experience. Stephen Fisher, whose love of fencing is bringing the discipline of this unique sport to people of all ages. And Ching-yi Lin, whose lessons are filled with the joy and excitement that the love of music can bring for a lifetime. We'd love to hear from you. We welcome comments, questions, or story ideas. Check out our webpage at the address on your screen. Until next time, I'm Barbara Deeb, and remember, we're just around the corner on Main Street.